Well, hello, Ashley. How are you doing today?
Hello, Kim. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is Ashley Ford, and I am going to talk to her today about friendships. So let's just get right into it. Ashley, how did we meet?
How did we meet? So I kept seeing a lady and a man walk around our neighborhood on a certain time, routinely every day with these two white, beautiful, fluffy dogs. And I just wanted to just reach out and touch them. And during quarantine, um, so I'm from the South and we monogram everything in the South. So I had a big F on my door and we were like in serious COVID quarantine lockdown. I mean, everybody was. It was the beginning of the 2 weeks. And I saw her dogs and she saw my F and she asked me, what does that F stand for? Because she thought that I was it meant something to do with the quarantine. We were all confused at the time. And I explained to her that I was from the South and we're a little slow. We're a little behind. We're 50 years behind on everything, but that's okay. And that sometimes we had to monogram things like our shirts and our doors so we can remember our names. And
Oh,
my last
because
name
if you didn't monogram things, you would forget your name?
yeah, like I said, we're a little slow.
Wow. Okay. And so I wasn't sure what the F meant because I thought maybe that was like, we don't want you disturbing us. So,
Right. Big F.
big F on the door. And no one else in the neighborhood had any letters on their door. It was just you. So we were very curious.
Yeah. Y'all don't do that up here. Y'all don't monogram as much as we do. Actually, I've got another F on my door right now as we speak.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have Fs in your yard?
On a flag, yes.
On the flag.
Actually,
and then the F is not for flag.
No, it's not for flag. Actually, I've got one that actually says the Fords right now.
Oh, okay. You mean you spelled out the name?
I did spell out the name. I've got several different for every season. You have to decorate.
Wow. Okay. That's very advanced to spell the whole name instead of just the F.
I know. I'm a smart one.
Yeah, you are. So Ashley, tell me, what qualities do you look for in a friend?
Well, when I meet someone, I read people. It's just a gift that I have. I can read someone and see if they've got good energy or bad energy. And if they have bad energy, I'm probably not going to waste my time on them. But if they have good energy and we have a lot of things in common and we could just hit it off, I mean, that's just, that's a big plus for me. So that's something to always look for, to see, your chemistry and see how you interact. See, pay attention to how that person makes you feel.
So how do you know if someone has good energy? I mean, is it from talking or is it just from the vibes that you're getting from them just by looking at them?
Like I said, it's a gift. I usually can just pick up someone's energy, but it could be what the conversation's about. It could be do they bring you joy, and you can actually read, people and find that out within a couple of minutes of just chatting with someone.
Oh,
or at least I can. I know it's crazy.
No, that's great. So what do you value most about the friends that you do have?
I value that I can actually call my friends if I need anything. I'm actually still best friends with someone that I've known since the first grade. Her name is Tracy. Wow. She's actually still in Mississippi. I know that I can call her day or night and she will be there to help me. And then I also have another girl who we were in second grade together and we finished high school together, and she lives about 6 minutes from me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we do a lot of family, stuff. But it's just staying connected with people throughout the years. Don't be scared. I mean, you probably love hearing from old friends.
Oh,
what makes you think that they don't, like hearing from friends?
Yeah. So. Okay. So I've always wanted to ask you this. What advice would you give to someone that's new in town, or if they aren't new in town, but their friends moved away and they wanted to meet new friends? What advice would you give someone?
Well, there's so many different options out there.
Like, what do you do when you move to a new town? Because you're the example here.
Yes. Okay. So I moved from Mississippi almost 4.5 years ago, and I moved to a town and I didn't know anyone. And I just kind of submerged myself into the community. I started, doing volunteer work. I did have a daughter in high school. So if you have kids, take advantage of that. You can, meet other moms and or aunts and uncles and things through your kids, or even through your pets. When you go to the pet park, if you don't have kids, you can, strike up a conversation with Saint Bernard down the way, and your owner. That owner might, have something in common with you. You got dogs, you already got something in common.
So when you said strike up a conversation with a Saint Bernard, were you actually talking to the dog, or were you talking to the owner?
Well, you can go through the Saint Bernard first, and then you can pay attention to the human. Whatever floats your boat. Yeah, it's just don't be scared. Most people out there are friendly, and yeah. And if they're having a bad day, don't let them. Don't feel like they're taking it out on you. It's not your fault, and that's what you got to just roll the punches. But most of the time, when I talk to people, they talk right back to me.
Wow,
they do.
So when you volunteered, how did you know where to go to volunteer? How could, like, somebody new in town, like, what would they do? How would they find volunteering?
Well, there's all kinds of, food shelters or pet shelters or, things of that nature. There's always, someone giving back. I actually started my own business. It was at the time it was a hemp CBD business.
Oh yeah.
And so I put myself out there a lot. And
like, what do you mean by put yourself out there? So what did you do?
Joined I think Squamish Valley Women in Business first. And then I joined the chamber, which was a huge thing. And then you just get introduced to certain people, and then it was keep it local. And you go to, if you're new and you don't want to join that kind of stuff, go to a restaurant. I promise you're going to make friends with that barista or that server, and you're going to become a familiar face, and then you'll start talking. You'll find the same interest.
So do these people become your friends? Like, do you see them outside of work, or are they just your friend when you go there?
No, you can go further, take it a step further, however you want to, whatever you feel more comfortable. But there are so many opportunities to meet people and meet friends.
So how do you go from meeting a barista to we're going to go out to lunch now? Like, what do you do in between that? How do you get them over?
You ask them on their day off, like, hey, let's probably not grab a cup of coffee because they're probably sick of coffee, but hey, do you want to go grab a lunch or something? And then that's why you just take that initiative, ask that step, let's go do lunch. Let's maybe go out to trivia one night, or bingo, or something that you realize that you guys have in common.
Yeah. And so you just ask them.
Yeah, you just
talk that to them. Like, how many times do you have to talk to someone? How many trips to the coffee shop do you have to make before you can ask about lunch?
Well, it depends on, how much time, you've gotten to know that person. If you feel comfortable, I would never suggest, you meeting up with someone that you don't feel comfortable with. But if you don't feel comfortable with that person, and you've been going in that coffee shop for 2 or 3 months every day, and you've been talking to this person, then it's probably a bad vibe. You probably don't want to waste your time on it if you still feel uncomfortable. But if you feel comfortable to, to be alone with someone and have, go into a deeper conversation, go for it. What's the worst they could do? They're going to tell you, no, I can't, I don't want to have lunch. Okay, well then move on.
Has that happened to you, where they're like, no, I really don't want to have lunch with you?
Yeah, it happened with us. No, I'm kidding. It was during COVID. I'm just like,
I don't remember that at all.
I know. It was during COVID. We couldn't.
So have you ever gone into a bank or something like that and said, hey, you want to go out for lunch?
Actually, there are, especially with the bank, because they know all your business.
Yes, yes, they do. Maybe you don't want to have lunch with your banker.
Right. No, I mean, but if you just know when a spark, flies off and hits you, just like with us. Like the next day, you're probably looking forward to see if I was sitting on my front porch.
Oh yeah, and then you moved away, and it's like she used to come out and say, "Hey y'all," and she'd run outside, and she goes, "I'm sorry, I'm not wearing many clothes right now. I just had to come and see y'all."
Exactly. Had to go say hello.
No, we don't get that anymore. I think it's funny though, because I have to tell everybody this story. About a couple of weeks ago, we were at home and Ashley calls me out of the blue. And I'm sitting on my couch. I don't know what I'm doing, but she goes, "Hey y'all, how you doing?" I said, "I'm fine. What's going on?" She goes, "Oh, nothing. What are you doing?" And I said, "Well," and she knows what time we walk the dog. So it was around that time, it was around 4 o'clock. And I said, "Yeah, we're about to go walk Holly." And you go, "Oh, okay. Well, then I'll let you go now." And remember, she had moved away. So we walk out the door with Holly, and there she is in the car. "Hey y'all." I said, "What are you doing here?" And you go, "I knew what time you took your dog for a walk, so here I am."
Yep,
That
surprise.
was hilarious. I loved that. That was great.
Because
So
you are a creature of habit. You are you are. You have got the master of habit down.
I know sometimes I think that maybe that's not good. I'm just very predictable.
Shake it up.
Let me ask you a question. So you told me how to make friends if you're you, but what if you're shy?
It's going to be a little bit more difficult, but you're going to have to trust your gut, and you're going to have to just push yourself out there. You're just going to have to go outside, just step one foot out your box, and I promise it'll be worth it.
Step one foot out your box.
Yeah, it probably took you a lot of courage to just finally just stop and say, what does that F mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And look what it turned into.
Well, you're so friendly. I mean, a lot of people like me or other shy people would meet. They aren't like you. They're not, I mean, they're not outgoing and friendly. They're kind of quiet. So how do you meet somebody who's a quiet person?
How do you know that they're not if you don't talk to them?
Well,
How do you know if that lonely person, next, I could sit in a cafe by myself and, and pretend like I'm working, and you will never know that I'm a friendly, bubbly, outgoing person unless you take the time to talk to me.
Would you talk to so let's say we went into Starbucks and there was somebody sitting there. Do you just go up to them while they're typing and go, "Hey y'all"?
No,
I
do respect boundaries, in that sense. But if someone's just sitting there, I will do a simple hello, how are you doing? And just a simple smile can brighten someone's day. And then that might lead into a conversation. Okay. Or I can give them a compliment. "Oh, I love your jacket," or "I love your necklace." And, someone might, "Oh, thanks. I got it at such and such years ago," or "It was my aunt's," or "It was my grandmother's." And then you just carry on a conversation. You never know unless you just, talk to someone. And it can be a simple compliment.
Wow. Okay. Let me see.
How did you meet your husband?
How did I meet my husband?
Yeah. How did you?
Somebody Who's doing the interviewing here? No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Okay, I'll stop.
No, I'm just kidding. We met at the gym about 25 years ago or more, 27 years ago.
Yeah. You had something in common.
Yeah, my boyfriend.
Okay. Next question. Didn't you have another question for me?
That's another story for another time.
Exactly.
Okay, let me see.
You were already at a common place and you just took it a step further.
Yeah, so. I was on the bike and then Mark would come and sit next to me on the bike. But I wasn't available then, but look at us now.
Exactly.
We're happily married now. So you already answered about I kind of already asked this. What's the best way to turn an acquaintance into a friend?
You get to know them. You don't give up on them. If you know and you feel like a spark between them, don't give up on them. You know,
Okay.
you may have to go that extra effort and, send them a text message, or bottom line, treat people the way that you want to be treated. Just bottom
Okay.
line. And if you like, getting text messages from people and saying, hey, thinking about you, I saw this show and it made me think about you, and it makes your heart warm, I bet you most likely that person would feel the same way if you send a message. But then don't be too creepy though. See, there's like a fine borderline.
Have you ever been too creepy,
You can't
in your
be
opinion?
stalking. Oh, yes.
You have? You've been creepy?
I know your schedule.
Well, that was a little creepy.
I
But
know, right?
it was very, very nice. I was very excited to see you.
But it was very obvious, your schedule. Like,
Yeah. So what you do is you stalk people and you get their schedules, and then you show up and go, hey, y'all.
that's a true friend there. No, no.
Let me see. How often do you see your friends in person?
At least once a week. Whether it's the girl who we went to school with, I see her a lot, Brandy. I can't see my best friend because she's 2,500 miles away, but
Yeah,
I try to make it a point to do. I'm a real estate agent as well, and
that's right.
so I have to be out in the community, and so yeah, I have to see people. I'm just a people person, because if I go very long without seeing anyone, I get down in the dumps. It's like I
Yeah.
need people.
Yeah. Real estate probably is a great way to meet people. I mean,
Yes.
you could probably say, oh, this is a great way to make friends. Go become a realtor.
Yes. Yes.
Even if you
Or
don't sell anything, you'll make lots of friends.
you will. You will. Or find a job. And if you don't want to be a realtor and sell, find a job that you can be around people, at the chamber or a restaurant, or, whatever, whatever floats your boat.
Are you still selling your, what do you call it?
The CBD.
Yeah, I was going to say cannabis, but that's probably not the right term.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I actually shut that down. But I still have a lot in stock. I needed to focus on my real estate. I closed it down at the beginning of the year.
Okay, well, I think I have a very funny story about you, and you probably know what I'm going to talk about. But Ashley gave me a sample of this cream. I don't know what it was called, but I was having back issues, and so she gave me a sample. She goes, "Take this home and only use a little bit." And so I said, all right. I didn't know what a little bit was because it was a little jar. It was a tiny little jar. So I took it home. My back started hurting, and I smothered that stuff all over my back. And suddenly my back was on fire. And so I called up Ashley, and you were in the shower, I guess.
Yes.
Then you finally got out of the shower, answered the phone. You go, what's wrong? And I said, oh my God, my back's on fire. What do I do? What do I do? And you're trying to talk me through this because it was really on fire.
Yeah.
But you're like, I'm standing here. I was in the shower. I don't even have a towel on. What a great friend.
I know,
To
right?
walk me through my panic of this stuff that's burning a hole in my back.
Exactly. Dripping wet. Just
yeah, but the stuff worked. After the burn went away, it's like, oh, this is good stuff. So it was very nice of you to do that.
Yeah.
I really did appreciate it.
No problem. That's what friends are for.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're for. Let me see. So what's the most important thing to do to maintain existing friendships?
You have to check up on your friend. Like I said, it's like a marriage. It's a two-way street. It's, you need them just as much as they need you, and vice versa. And you've got to maintain that. And you need to, first of all, you got to figure out their language. I mean, if they're a gift person, or I know we're getting back into stalker vibes.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me more about that.
Well, you've got to figure out what kind of person they are. Are they a person that, likes to hang out in person, or are they a kind of behind the scenes friend? Or, that's why I have so many different friends, because I know which ones I can go to, and which ones that I can make them feel comfortable with. Some people, don't really care to get out in public, my shyer friends, so I'm a little bit easier with them. But then there's friends that's like, hey, let's go. And, and we go. There's friends that just really want to talk, talk like voice to voice. And then I've got friends that just want to text. So you need to understand their boundaries and what they want. And that way you can, thrive for that relationship. Because if I'm constantly calling my friend who does not want to talk on the phone and would rather text, if I'm constantly calling, they're going to get irritated, and it's going to be.
Has that happened?
Ashley's calling again.
Has that happened before?
I mean, not really. I can't really, say that it's happened, but my best friend Tracy, she's a texter. She hates the phone. She's a pharmacist. And so she's always on the phone with anytime you're in the pharmacy, you always see that pharmacist on the phone. So she's always on the phone. So she would rather text. But we take time about once a month to actually verbally talk.
You do?
Yes. And we catch up, and those conversations will range from all over the board. I mean, we talk about Sally from our hometown to dogs to everything, to candle. I mean, whatever, we talk about everything, and we catch up, and then we're good for about a month. So you need to learn what works for each friend.
Wow. That's good.
And what stage of the life, they're in. If they've got small kids, they don't have time to talk.
Right. Well, you're very respectful of people's boundaries.
You have to be.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I want to know, who's Sally?
I have no idea, but
tell me about Sally from your hometown. I want to know about Sally.
Actually, I do not know a single Sally. I don't.
Oh,
honestly,
okay. Who really is it that you're talking about from your hometown? We'd like to know all about them.
Well, she might, pick up on this. She might.
We'll call her Sally.
Yeah, Sally.
Okay. Let me see. So what is your preferred communication method?
I am actually a people touchy person. So I like to meet in person. I do. I get a lot more accomplished. That's just my personality. I get a lot more accomplished. I feel better. I feel like I can read people better, because you can read text messages a whole nother way. If you know that,
Oh, yes.
It can come across you can try to be nice, but to me, it's coming across as attitude or mean. And so that's why I prefer to do one-on-one, so you can hear the tone of my voice and see my facial expressions.
Yeah. So if you can't meet in person, then what's your next best way of communicating?
Phone or Zoom?
Phone or Zoom?
Yeah.
Text is probably last.
Zoom, would like blow up and bring so many people together.
Yeah. Zoom is great.
I know.
We're Zooming now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let me see if there's anything I didn't ask you yet. I'm reading a list. Let me see.
Imagine that. I don't know how to read. I'm from the South. I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah, I know. F. Let me see.
Yeah, there's actually very intelligent people from the South.
I'm sure there are.
So much.
You're one of them.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You got Mark Twain and all those, literally, it's just a masterpiece. Ernest Hemingway.
Ashley Ford.
Ashley Ford.
You're one of them.
Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
They're all from Mississippi.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Is there any other thing that you'd like to offer? Any other piece of advice to people who are really lonely and they're searching for friends, whether they're shy or not? What else can you offer?
Be yourself. Don't be fake, because that's just a dead end street. Just be yourself, and you'll be surprised how many people are attracted to you if you just be yourself. Just put yourself out there. Join a Facebook group. If you're not a people person like I am, join a Facebook group of someone that has similar interests, whether it's knitting or sewing or whale watching, whatever you want to do. Facebook is, a great connection piece. And then that's how you can meet people.
How about like a meetup group?
You can meet up group. That was my next thing. So if you want to meet in person with someone, go to the bingo hall or a certain group. If you want like women in business, or, there again, the chamber is a trusted source. You can't go wrong with the chamber. But most people, if you don't own a business, they're not going to join the chamber. So you need to get involved in all these other groups. There's, I live in Gig Harbor now in Washington, but there's a group that's called Gals of Gig Harbor. And,
Tell me about that. What's that?
it's just a Facebook group, and we say, hey, where's the best massages, or hey, we're going to meet here and we're going to walk here at 10 o'clock and at this park and such date. Yeah.
I love that.
If you want to go, you can go. You just show up.
So have you done it? Have you gone?
I have not met up with them. It was just always, I've been interacting with them though, but I haven't really gotten a chance to show up.
It sounds like a good group.
I know it is. So it is. So you can find groups like that. Just, put yourself out there. Don't be shy to go up and give that compliment to someone.
Okay. Now what about people who are still scared to meet in person because of
COVID?
Yeah.
There again, you can wear a mask. There's so much judgment, and this is such a tricky, conversation, but don't judge people. I mean, just if they're wearing a mask, still go talk to them.
What if people are afraid to go out still, or even if they have a mask, they're afraid to go out and they still want to meet people, but they're not quite, they don't want to really risk it yet.
Well, there are safe measures out there that, you can meet someone in a park and, and keep your 6 feet.
Okay. Distance. I like that.
I remember back home, they used to have a paint, they used to paint rocks, and we would show up a couple of times. And so you meet at the park. It was at the Olive Branch Park in Mississippi, and you paint and then you distribute and you hide all these rocks.
Okay.
But you're sitting around a table, and it was pre-COVID, but you can easily distance yourself and you just sit and paint and you just talk.
I love that idea.
And then you just go and you put your rocks out. And
so where do you put the rocks? You hide them? Do you hide them in
hide them
neighborhoods?
wherever. Yeah, you hide them in neighborhoods, you hide them wherever you want. And then if you find a rock, you're supposed to upload it to that, it was a big, I think it was called 662 rocks. And it's just that it was our area code.
Oh, okay. I'm like, why is the number? Okay.
662.
Okay.
Yeah. And so so everybody, whether or not you paint the rocks or not, if you found one, you still went and posted it on that site.
Well, I really love that idea about meeting outside. You can be social distance, but everybody's kind of doing something, the same thing.
Yes.
And painting and being creative.
Yes. And you put anything on those rocks, anything.
Wow, I really love that idea. Thank you. Yeah. Do you have any more creative ideas for all of us?
Not mine, but actually the city of Olive Branch got behind that. They actually started hiding rocks as well. So if you can, if you have a friend that works, in Snoqualmie, maybe you can, do that.
Wow, I like that. Are there any more creative ways to meet people that we should know?
Just you take your interest, you look back, say, what am I most interested in? And you just try to find, groups or events going on in your local area. And then you're already at that common ground, just like with you and Mark at the gym. You're already at that common ground. You're at a place that's common. Let's take it a step further. And you just take baby steps if you need to. And eventually it'll grow into a friendship.
Okay. I love it. Sense? Yes, you have great ideas. Thank you so much for sharing everything with us today.
Yeah. Well,
now, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
I'm on Facebook, Ashley Ford at the Mesa Group.
And what is it? It's the Mesa Group, MESA?
MESSA.
MESSA. Okay. And then what's your area of
my area
real estate?
So the home office is in Snoqualmie, North Bend area, but my area is Snoqualmie and North Bend. I still do that because I have a lot of connections there. But I also do Gig Harbor. I I do Birmingham and Pierce County, Kitsap County, Thurston County. I will go all the way down. So I'm spread all over. I got to spread the love.
She does the whole state.
If you want me to, yes.
Okay, people may want to take you up on that.
I don't mind. It's helping others. And that's what comes to me naturally. It's just helping others and just being involved.
Yeah, and you're so good at it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, but you just be natural, and everything else will just kind of fall in place.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We got a lot out of this, and I'm sure you're going to help a lot of people.
You're like my golden girls. Thank you for being my friend.
Yeah. Thank you for being a friend.
Woo.
Okay. All right, Ashley. We will hope to see you on future interviews.
Yes, most certainly. I would love to be back. Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you for coming. See you soon.